Welcome to today's session on object-oriented programming concepts in Python. So in this session, we will see some of the OOPS concept in its introduction and some examples of OOP concepts. And in the second half, we will see the constructors and special methods. So introduction to OOP concepts. So OOP is abbreviated as object-oriented programming. So here this Python is also a object-oriented programming language. That means it models the real world entities as objects. So oriented programming, it is a programming paradigm that organizes the code using objects and classes. So it allows us to create reusable and organized code. So once you had defined that function, it can be reused and the code will be looking like organized code. It is separated into classes, different types of classes containing different types of objects. So that is called as object oriented programming. So here Python is also a object oriented programming language. So some of the important key concepts of OOP involves class, objects, attributes, and methods. So you have heard a word about class. So class, it is a structure that is used to define the properties and behaviors, and that will contain some of the objects. So it is like a blueprint for creating the objects. It contains the properties and behavior of those objects. So that is called as a class. So object is an instance of a class. So each and every element in a class is said to be a object. This object contains data and other methods or functions. Then attributes. Third concept is attributes. Attributes means these are variables that are used to store the data or the state of an object. So these are called as attributes. Attributes can be defined either inside a class or a particular instance, or it is a static attribute. And finally we have methods. Methods means they are the functions that is defined inside a class that describe the behavior of the object. So shortly, method is otherwise known as behaviors or functions. So methods are the functions that define the behavior of the object. So these four core concepts form the basis of the OOP concept. So class, object, attribute, and method. So class contains objects uh, along with its properties and behaviors. Object is an instance of a class that contain data and methods. Attributes, these are the variables that are used to store the data. And methods, these are the functions that describe the behavior of the object. So why to use the OOP language? So always OOP language is better due to these reasons, these four reasons. First is modularity. Modularity means it is reusable. The code is organized into smaller and reusable units, subunits. It will have so many subunits that is smaller as well as reusable. And encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. So these are the advanced OOP concepts that we will be seeing in the next session. So shortly, encapsulation means it combining of data and methods in a single unit, that is called as encapsulation. Then inheritance. Inheritance means taking the characteristics from the previous classes, that is called as inheritance. And polymorphism, so it allows object to be treated as instance of their parent class. So for these reasons, due to these functionalities, we will prefer the OOP language. So first concept is class and object. Class and object. So as we seen earlier, class defines the structure and behavior of an object, and object is the instance of a class with specific values for its attributes. Simply we can say if the object is an element that is present inside a class with some attributes. So we'll see an example. So here class car is defined. So that means the entire class is about car. So under that we have some objects that may be brand, model or year. So that is initiated by using the init method. So this init is called as a constructor method which is used to initialize the object. So define init self. Self means particular instance. So self of brand, model, year, these are the objects that are present inside the class. So these brand, model, year represent the attributes of the object. So this is initiated by self dot brand is equal to brand, self dot model is equal to model, and self dot year is equal to year. Define display info of self. So when we give like this, the print statement will print the attribute in the particular instance. So this car is a self dot year. If this place, the year will come. Whatever value is present in this instance, that will be printed, and self dot brand, self dot model, everything will be printed. And second one is attributes. So attributes can be classified into two types: instant attributes and class attributes. Instant attributes means it is specific to each object and defined inside the init method. So it is like a local variable. So it is specific to each and every object and it will be defined inside the init method. So as we seen earlier in this program, init. So within this init method, the instant attributes will be defined, and class attributes that is shared across all instances of a class. So under the class the attributes will be defined so that it will be shared in the overall class. It is similar to a global variable. So for example, to demonstrate the class attribute and instant attribute. So here the same example we are considering. So class car. So under the class car, we have fixed wheels is equal to 4. So this is outside of the init method. So it is considered as a class attribute. Then define init self make model. So self dot make is equal to make, self dot model is equal to model. These two are the properties that are defined at that particular instance. So wherever the self keyword occurs, that denotes the instance. So these two are the instance attributes. Then we are giving the particular data. So car 1 is equal to car Toyota Corolla, car 2 equal to car Honda Civic. So this will be the make and this will be the model. So print car1 dot make comma car1 dot wheels. That means car1 make is Toyota and car1 dot wheels is 4. So this car1 dot make is an instant attribute and this is the car1 dot wheels is a class attribute. So be clear that under the init method, whichever attributes are defined, those are the instant attributes that should be represented with the keyword of self. So print car2 dot make comma car2 dot wheels. That means Honda 4. That will be printed as the output. So this is an example to demonstrate the attributes. And third one is methods. So in methods, we have three different types of methods. First is instant method. So an instance method, it operates on the attributes of an instance of the class. It has access to the instance properties via the self parameter. So as I told earlier, so instance will be will be taking its access through the self parameter. So here the key points of this instance method is that it has access to instance attributes via self, and it can modify the state or data of the instance, and it can also access both instance attributes and class attributes. So this is the first method, instance method. So here in this example, you can see instance method is defined with the help of a self parameter. So this is uh, it has access to instance attributes and also class attributes. And next one is static method. So in static method, it is a method uh, that does not depend on any instance or class attributes. So it just works like a regular function, but it is defined inside a class for logical grouping. So it is always denoted using at static method. Using this keyword, it will be denoted. So here you can see if multiply a comma b, it is a static method. So here the self uh, parameter is not included since it is a static method. So it does not depend upon any instance or class attributes. And also you can see these both instance method and static method are um, defined inside the class. It is defined inside the class. And third one is the class method. So here class method, it operates on class attributes rather than instance attributes. And also it is used to modify the class state rather than the instant specific data. So here about the class methods, it has access only to class attributes, but it cannot able to access the instance attributes, and it is declared using this keyword at class method. So for using this, we'll be using CLS. Instead of self in instance method, we will be using CLS in class method. So to demonstrate these methods, we have written an example program here. Class of math operations, def add self a comma b. See, once if you see the keyword self, it denotes that it is an instance method. So return a plus b at static method. So for using the static method, you have to use this keyword diff multiply a comma b. You need not write the self uh, parameter here. So it will just multiply a and b and return the value to you. So usage will be like this. So this math attribute math operations class is defined as the math, and print math dot add 5 comma 3. So here we are using the self parameter. So it is assumed it to be a instance method. So here we don't use any self parameter. That means it is a static method. So based on these concepts, you have a task that to create a student class with attributes for name, age, and grade. So include a method to calculate average grade of multiple subjects. So you can write a program, you can analyze, you can refer some more content on class and objects, and you can try to prepare a program in Python language for the given task. And the next topic is constructors and special methods. So usually in Python, constructor, it denotes the init method, initialize. So this is a special method that will initialize the object's attributes automatically when a new object is created. So this initialize will automatically initialize the object when it is newly created. So this is the main constructor in Python programming. So why to use the init method? So first point is it ensures objects start with valid initial value. So init method always start the object with valid initial values, and also it simplifies the object creation by setting up the initial states. It will check for the valid initial value, and also it will set up the initial state. Only for these two reasons we prefer init method to initialize any object attribute. So syntax for init method is class name, diff init, self comma parameters. So this will initialize the instance attributes. Self dot attribute is equal to value. So this is how you use the init method. So an example, class person diff initialize self name age. So self dot name equal to name, self dot age is equal to age. Now you are giving an object person 1 is equal to person of Alice, 30. So while printing person 1 dot name, in that place Alice, person 1 dot 30, you will have 30. Person 1 dot age, you will have 30. So this is how initialize method will will check the validity of the initial values, and it will initiate it. So some other special methods in Python. So it is also, these special methods are also called as dunder methods, and it allows objects to behave like a built-in types. So these methods will allow the object to be like a built-in type, and also they enable customization of how objects interact with different Python operations. So some of the special methods are str, repr, len, add. So you are more familiar with the len function. It returns the length of the object if applicable. So it can use like len bracket object. Then str means it returns a string representation of the object. So return function can be performed using a print command. So it will return the string representation. And repr means return a detailed string. So repr of object, it will return a detailed string. This will be mostly used by the developers. Then len function, add function, it will define the behavior for plus operator. It will just add the two objects. So example for demonstrating the str and repr command. So we have taken an example like book. So once class book is um, assumed, so in values are objects are initiated. So title and author are the two objects. So that two instance are attributes, and def str of self. So str means it will return the string. So return f of self dot title by self dot author. So once you give the command like this, your output will be 1984 by George Orwell. And repr, it will return the detailed string. So use the repr method and return the f book of title equal to self title comma author equal to self dot author. So the reverse of this initialization has to be presented in the repr, so that it will return the detailed string. So these two commands will be used in such a way. And third is the add method. So here we have taken a class called as vector, and we have initiated two parameters x and y, and add function define add self comma other. So return vector self dot x plus other x, self dot y plus other y. Then define str, so that it will return in the form of a string. So assign vectors v1 and v2, v3 equal to v1 plus v2. So print v3, that means in the output you will get 3 plus 1 and 4 plus 2. So since we have used the add function and the function is also defined like this. So x with other x, comma y with other y. So we'll receive the output as vector of 4 comma 6. So implement str and add in a custom class to represent a time duration. So take some objects of time duration and use the add and str method and display the result.